So, the beginning of mankind, Prometheus.
Beginning of the end.
Beginning of the end. That's true. That's very much the beginning of the end.
Lot of with Prometheus. I was pleasantly surprised. However, there's a lot that I'm still like. This is a movie where I'm gonna buy the Blu-ray or DVD, whatever they release it at first, and watch it with director commentary, because I feel like a lot where you're like sitting there, you're like, okay, that's very artistic and open to interpretation, but I was like, but what was his intention? Which it's like bordering on art house film.
Well, let me interject. There's a new show on Hulu, and it's very much like our show. It's called Spoilers. It's a Kevin Smith show.
Okay. But
he only reviews one movie. Like, it's after a movie comes out, he brings a bunch of people to go see it, then he has a big discussion about the movie. And they did Prometheus. And there's a lot of people who were talking about like some of the problems, like trying to figure out what was going on in the film. And they actually had David Lindelof on, one of the writers, who did Lost and all that stuff. He came on. He talked about it. He was like, the basic idea came from Ridley, and the other guy, I can't remember his name, the other guy, John Spates. I can't pronounce his name.
Yeah, the guy who brought in.
Yeah, the other guy. And he was like, he did a lot of the changes, but he's like, Ridley had these ideas, and I changed a lot of it. They discussed some of it. And one of the scenes, the idea was behind the very opening shot. The opening shot is the beginning of mankind.
I see. Okay, so that's where it was going.
Where the guy,
where he envelops and he like lets.
Like what he was ingesting was to break down his cellular body, since we're supposed to share the same DNA. Sorry for spoiling anything.
Well, no, that's the opening sequence. So that's what happens is, for those of you who are familiar with alien lore, the space jockeys, which is the fan created name for the giant guy they find in Alien who's already had the chest burster come through. They find his remains. He was dubbed the space jockey because of the huge fandom that it was caused. You know, this is like where the aliens came from. Yeah. Well, turns out that they call them engineers in this movie. Yeah. Which is something interesting. And, you know, the two scientists, they discover this, and they realize, oh, we could plot a course. We found a planet that's relatively like ours, and the Wayland Industries, which is the company referred to in all the Alien movies,
the universe,
is pays like $1 trillion to send the Prometheus ship there to find out
16, 18 people.
Yeah, and it's like they all go in cryo sleep and everything like that. And if you watch the movie without getting into too much of it, because it does envelop into like this really good drama where there's a lot of, you know, hidden plot elements and obvious deceptions, because what would Ridley Scott film be without deception? And they go there, and when they get there, they think they're going to find answers, and what instead they find
they're going to find the beginning, but they're not finding the
beginning. They're finding, it turns out, like the poster says, is that it's coming towards our destruction.
Well, I like what Idris Elba's character, I can't remember his character's name, but the guy who's the pilot of the ship, one of the things he says about where they ended up being is like, this is a military outpost.
Yeah, they were just smart enough not to build weapons of mass destruction on their own doorstep.
Right. That's basically where Prometheus is.
Which wasn't a very well shot scene, but the sentiment was all right. Yeah. However, if you go to the extra stuff on like WaylandIndustries.com, they created this entire website for like the birth of this industry. And there's a keynote speech by Guy Pearce's character, who is Wayland himself, the creator and founder of this company. And he talks about the robotic age that he's helped create through characters like David, which is played by Fassbender. And it's these synthetic humanoid type robots where he actually articulates this point during his keynote, which is, we are now the gods.
Fire. Our first true piece of technology. Fire. 100,000 BC, stone tools. 4,000 BC, the wheel. 9th century AD, gunpowder. Bit of a game changer, that one. 19th century, Eureka, the light bulb. 20th century, the automobile, television, nuclear weapons, spacecraft, internet. 21st century, biotech, nanotech, fusion and fission and M theory. And that was just the first decade. We are now 3 months into the year of our Lord, 2023. At this moment in our civilization, we can create cybernetic individuals who, in just a few short years, will be completely indistinguishable from us. Which leads to an obvious conclusion. We are the gods now. For those of you who know me, you will be aware by now that my ambition is unlimited. You know that I will settle for nothing short of greatness, or I will die trying. For those of you who do not yet know me, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Peter Wayland. And if you'll indulge me, I'd like to change the world.
We've created things that are indistinguishable from humanity. We are therefore the gods.
Michael Fassbender makes that statement as David in the movie, something about how being he is a created. He's like, and he asks his
he asked one of the scientists, "How would you feel if your creator said we only did it because we could?"
He's like, well, I feel awful. He's like, well, and it's almost like saying, and then he didn't say it. How do you think I feel?
Yeah, but the whole thing is that they talk about the entire time he has synthetic feelings, not actual feelings. Right. But then the whole thing is that has been the speculation for why the destruction had been engineered completely, is because we had created this perverse alteration of the original gift. We began worshiping ourselves as gods for all we've done, and the actual gods were going, hold on a second, don't forget where you came from.
We'll just show you,
Yeah, we'll show you what we're capable of.
I mean, the reason behind the whole why would they send alien creatures and this deathly virus, whatever you want to call it, to Earth is not really answered truthfully. And I think the way the movie ends, I don't want to say anything, the movie sets itself up for a sequel, and I think that's what the sequel is supposed to do, is keep going into this universe, this new alternate timeline.
In that universe, they have about 300 years before we're at Alien.
Right.
So there is room for other movies in between. And it'd be interesting to see where it goes from there. And everybody who walks out who enjoys it, I've been talking to a lot of people about this, they walk out, they're like, it was really interesting. You think they're going to do a sequel? And I was like, I hope so.
Yeah.
So
well, Ridley Scott's been talking about, even before the movie came out, he wanted to do a sequel. And just real quick, a friend of mine his father went to see the movie. He didn't tell his father at all that it had to do with Alien, just because his father, I don't know if he was a big fan of it, but he's sitting there watching the movie, and he's every once in a while he's like, isn't that? You know, and he's talking about the Alien references. So it was nice to see someone who didn't know what the movie was kind of be about to go see the movie and their reaction to it. But he liked it too, and it was like, you know, he's like, wait a minute, isn't that?
As we refer to them, Test Group A.
Yeah.
And
not the nerds who love, you know.
Yeah. So not for now, and I'm gonna stick with a matinee rating on this one.
I'm gonna give it a green. Just go see it. It is awesome. It's a really good movie.
I think we're not. I don't think either of us is denying it's worth the watch.
I also saw it in IMAX 3D. It's nice to see something like that on the big screen. 3D, they could have just put it in IMAX, not have been happy.
A lot of subtle metaphors in the movie too. So
tons of metaphors.
But again, I think that's why this isn't putting up #1 box office numbers like we have Madagascar out and everything like that, unfortunately. So
speaking of Madagascar, I guess we're done with Prometheus.
Yeah, we're moving on from that. Madagascar's doing very well.
Madagascar's doing well. I didn't see it. William didn't see it, but my sister went and saw it, and she said it was hilarious. My sister has different tastes than I do, so take that for however you want. You know, I guess.
We should have her as a guest. We got seats.
Yeah. Now she's too busy with her boyfriend. Anyway.
Be right back.
King has his reign. It's inevitable. Oh, the head. They're changing. Changing into what?
It's moving. These things moving.
If you don't stop it, there won't be any home to go back to.
Why is that door open? Cut it off! Cut it off!
So that's it this week, folks. We reviewed Abraham Lincoln Vampire Hunter, and we did the movie review of Prometheus, which I think is great because we both are in agreement that you should go see it. So, William, what do you think of this week's episode?
I think we did good, Carl.
Anything all right over there, William?
They replaced William. I am the David 8 model.
Oh, beautiful.
Michael Fassbender, bro. I can do anything William does, but without his cynicism.